Sebaceous hyperplasia. If you have it, you are annoyed with it, but there's a solution. Stay tuned. That's coming up next. Welcome back. Christine Byer here, licensed esthetician for 22 years. On this channel, we talk about your skincare journey because it's never one thing that makes your face look better. It's usually a whole combination of things. Sebaceous hyperplasia, what is it? It is a pain in the butt. And I have had many clients have them, and they like to pop up like the center of the forehead. They can be on the chest. They can be anywhere. I'm going to pop up a few photos here. And basically what it is the oil glands around a follicle get enlarged and they kind of forget how to get out, like the oil can't escape. And so what I do in these cases, there's a special device, it's an electrodesiccator, and they go by different names. Probably the most popular one is the Thermoclear. There's also the Skin Classic. There's a nurse that, Stefani, I can't remember her last name. She's got lots of videos up on YouTube on how to get rid of sebaceous hyperplasia with these electrodesiccators. There's the Lamb probe. There are so many of these electrodesiccators. I use the old style Thermalo. It works like a charm. It's basically what electrologists use to kill off hair follicles, right? And it's just a little tiny probe with some high frequency energy or a blend of high frequency and electricity. And to treat this sebaceous hyperplasia, say you had one like right here, there's a specific method that's taught, and I believe Stefani teaches this. But if you want more information, I will link one of her videos below of how she gets rid of these. So you're gonna go straight into the center of the mound. And for anybody who has these, you can pop them and then they come right back. And maybe a little bit will come out the next time and it comes right back. And maybe a little less will come out the next time. And then they just stop, you can't get anything out of them. They just become so inflamed, those sebaceous glands underneath the skin. And so it looks like a donut. They look like donuts. And so what I have been taught to do, and works like a charm, sometimes I need to retreat, but I have gotten like hundreds off of people's foreheads. It's crazy. It's such a simple procedure. I don't charge a ton for it. But you basically use the little probe. So this is the little probe for my device. And I do all this with gloves. And for sebaceous hyperplasia, I use a little bit of a bigger probe. It's just because I want more heat to go in there because they tend to come back, right? So you want to go in there and really destroy oil follicles that are just going crazy. And so if you go in, I'll show you how this looks like. Remind you, I would have gloves and everything would be disinfected. And I come like this, put the bottom in here. Oh, I can't get it. Okay, so that's what it's gonna look like. Can you see that? Right, and this, I turn it way down. I turn it down. And I will just go in. I'll just go right in the middle of the donut, zzz, a little bit. And then I go on the outside of the donut in about 5 places. So it's like zzz, 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 around the donut. So that's gonna go in and spread that heat so that it basically destroys or dries up. It just desiccates. It just draws all the moisture out of those cells. And I just leave it like that and you'll get a scab. It will fall off. And usually it's healed because we have desiccated or dried up the sebaceous glands that are like erroneously or working badly, if that makes sense. So that's the clearest way I think I can describe it without using a bunch of doctor's jargon. But yeah, we basically just dry everything up. And so it forms a scab. We don't touch the scab. We let that fall off. And yeah, this is a very specialized procedure. You could look for, old school thermologist, or what do they call those? I think I said it earlier. Old school hair removal people that like put them in one by one. They'll put this in each follicle and go zzz, and then pull the hair out, and then that kills off the hair, right? The hair follicle. Anyway, that is kind of an old school technology, but it is still the only FDA approved method of permanent hair removal. And it's like permanent. It's long, it's tedious, it can be painful, but it's still the only FDA approved method of hair removal that is actually permanent. So, I mean, lasers do a lot, but you know, if you're very hairy, if you want to get rid of hairs, say like on your chin or your face, electrology is the way to go, because it's one treatment and they're gone. Well, it may be a few more than one treatment, but they're gone forever, which you can't say that with lasers. They'll come back finer, they'll come back less, but yeah, it's not always a foregone conclusion that laser works 100%. So, sebaceous hyperplasia, now you know a different way to attack it. Some people say use retinoids, and that can help, right? But you've got some cells there that are overreacting to stimuli, right? And we need to dry them up and get them to move on. And that's really one of the best ways I've ever seen, because you go laser and that kind of stuff on them and it's just too much. It's too much for the areas. But if you go in there with a lot of precision and just a little bit of heat and just dry those suckers up, it works like a charm. Thanks for watching. Bye now.